What type of game sucks up more time than anything else? MMORPGs, and some have come and gone, being noticed, while some other ones go under the radar, but that doesn't always mean that they were good. Sometimes it happens that people, move on and do bigger and better things, or sometimes worse things. But nonetheless, as a gamer who has sunk hundreds of hours trying, devouring, and enjoying almost every MMO that has come out in the last 6 or 7 years, I decided to revive those titles that, we so thoroughly remember our wonderful times in game, but no longer can do so as they have been shut down. So, here are some of the best Dead MMORPGs to date. City of Heroes and City of Villains. A double whammy of sorts. Unfortunately, they both went under once NCSoft merged the two in July of 2008. Now, if you were anywhere a fan of superheroes, this was probably the MMO that you were most likely playing at the time, and it really featured fun PvP. It allowed people to choose their archetypes and play either the superhero or the villain that they always wanted to. I was quite young when it first started, and unfortunately at the time I did have an addiction to World of Warcraft, so it kind of kept me taking some gameplay away from this game, but I was still able to log a good amount of days into this game. Now personally, I enjoy the questing, probably because of the superhero aspect, and it kind of made me feel more powerful than I really was, similar to Champions Online, but I do think that City of Heroes was actually more fun. Ultimately, I was only able to get into I think it was 46, because most of my time was actually spent creating new heroes and trying out new villains and all their different powers that you can make. It was really cool with the character creation. I tried to make them look as stupid as possibly could with some weird ass color arrangements. I don't know. I guess I was kind of weird, but that was the favorite part for me about this game, and a lot of memories. Unfortunately, it's shut down now, and we remember it for all the great times. Vanguard. This gem of an MMORPG was created by SWGEmu. Now, the thing that kind of made me laugh a lot was the complete disregard for balancing among the classes for PvP. Mainly because I think the developers are just choosing not to focus on it, but it was so funny to see that one class was literally so strong that was just one-shotting everyone, while other ones were just, in the back, pretty much useless. There were some unique features of the game, such as the crafting system and the diplomacy system. So if you were crafting, it was possible to randomly attain a problem or this complication. So you would either choose, deal with it, or just say fuck it, leave it, whatever, and then that would negatively affect how you chose to deal with it. Then there's diplomacy, which was pretty much like this card game, and it let you choose for the people who were diplomats if you wanted to enable buffs throughout the city. You could have guild houses, actually a pretty cool sick griffin mount, and some other cool things as well. So it did have a lot of cool things about the game within Vanguard. The only problem is it felt very bland. The environment was a bit boring to look at, if I'm being quite honest with you. And at first, like many MMOs, they were having a good amount of people actually play their game, but typically after the first month, they drop and then it continually drops from there. So a launch that is filled with bugs, it definitely hurts the developers and the game overall, and it never really caught on to the larger mass because of, at the time, World of Warcraft really gaining a lot of success. So I think that was the main part of why it never gained a mass amount of success and ultimately led to the shutdown some years later. Star Wars Galaxies. Now you probably saw this one coming, and you're probably asking why not number one. Well, you'll see. But Star Wars Galaxy was the Star Wars MMO. It was around before it shut down as preparation for the Star Wars The Old Republic, and quite simply, The Old Republic just was not as much fun for an MMO, because while The Old Republic did a wonderful job at storytelling and really presenting a huge and awesome storyline for a lot of classes, Galaxies offered housing which you could make into cities, the ability to fall unconscious. The fact that you could level up dancing as a skill to obtain better dancing skills was great. Tons of different advanced class that ended up stemming from the 6 basic professions and so much more. It was undoubtedly one of the most fun MMOs of all time, and it lasted for over 8 years. Now the game finally shut down on December 11th of 2011, where in the final 5 hours, I believe, we participated in a wonderful PvP event that was held by Giant Bomb and Kotaku. It was really like this sad moment for everyone who was a longtime player, but it was still it was a happy event, I guess you could say. But currently you can still find private servers for this game, Most notably, you can find SWGEmu. So if you're interested in trying a private server emulator, try hopping back in or enjoy some Galaxies, then make sure to seek those servers out and enjoy your time. Warhammer Online. Where should I start? Alright, so this game was completely plagued by bugs, and oddly, I loved it. I don't know why I love the game so much. It was really just like the Warhammer dark and gritty atmosphere that was just so wonderful, and they had amazing PvP, both with their battlegrounds and the open world RVR. So, you know, just getting a ton of people into warbands, going to fight the opposing realm in the open world it was just so much fun. I absolutely love the community. Now, of course, you're gonna get a few dicks here and there, but for the most part, the people who I came across every single day were just awesome people, and it was probably like the main reason why I enjoyed all of my time in this game so much. Now, honestly, I still think Warhammer Online had the best PvP to date. You know, if only they were able to squash a lot of the bugs at release, I think it could have helped them. Now, shortly after release, a big problem for why they lost a lot of people was the release of Wrath of the Lich King. It took away a large part of the people who were, you know, kind of just playing the game, waiting for WoW's next expansion. So if you never play this game, Warhammer Online just had this feel. It was amazing. It's just one of those games that's very hard to tell people why everyone loved it so much, because there were so many bugs. Everyone kind of looks at it, and there's just people who just look past those and realize that they love this game. It was just fun, even when they only had, you know, 2 developers working on the game before it was closed down. Currently, there is a private server that holds up to 1,400 people. It's called Return of Reckoning. It is still filled with all the bugs and glitches of the Warhammer Online amazingness. You know, it's still its amazing game that it was, and you know, and it does mean that you get to play Warhammer again. So make sure to check that out if you guys had no idea it was still up. This game was my MMO that I lost a lot of time in, not as much as World of Warcraft, but I love this game so much, and unfortunately it did shut down in 2013. I would like to give an honorable mention to EverQuest Next. Oh, sorry. I didn't want to, but I felt like I had to, you know? Alright, that's going to do it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what MMOs that you played and are now dead or enjoying the most. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, always helps to support. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.